I remember the first time somebody asked me, "Hey Brett, how many houses do you have?" And I hesitated. I had to think about it. My response was, "Let me check the spreadsheet." Well, I want to show you the spreadsheets that we use. I also want to show you the tips and tricks that we use to efficiently manage assets in our passive income portfolio. I want to turn your investments passive. My name is Brett Riggins. I'm the co-founder of Physician Wealth Systems, and I've dedicated the past 15 years of my life to real estate, buying and selling, fixing and flipping, all of that fun stuff. I want to show you that experience, what's worked for us and what hasn't. Let's jump right into this. So this is the 6 steps to leverage passive cash flow. We're on step number 6, asset management right now. This is a path forward for you to go from 0 to 12 rental properties in just 12 months. There's a lot of work involved. It could be multiple other jobs involved, but in these 6 steps, I want to show you how you can build the team and leverage the necessary resources to this point where you can be passive. Currently today we're on step number 6, which is asset management. You can find all of these spelled out in a book called How to Get Rich as a Doctor. You can download it on Kindle, paperback, hardcover, whatever you want to do. It's available on Amazon currently right now. Check it out. There's much more detail than what I go to on the YouTube videos. Let's go into asset management here. Turn your investments passive. I'll give you a summary of what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to talk about inventory, project status report, funding reports, property management, holdback accounts, cash flow focus, and QuickBooks Online. So quickly, I want you to be able to take a snapshot of where you're at, know where your books are. You need to be diligent in your efforts to keep good records. You need to track everything, and I want you to create standard operating procedures as we're going here. Ultimately, you need to learn, implement, and then outsource so you can repeat this. You're not looking to buy another job, right? You are satisfied in your current profession. I don't want to be a bookkeeper. I don't want to be a property manager. So we're deriving these solutions with that in mind. I'm only going to be doing about 1 to 2 hours a month when I'm looking at my passive income portfolio. These are the things that you'll need to know in order to successfully be efficient and effective managing your passive income. Ultimately, eliminate, automate, and then delegate. So we could pick up a virtual assistant. That's really, really important. This stuff is going to be simple. It seems overwhelming at first, but there's a lot that you don't need to know. I want to give you the things that you need to focus on to get there faster and safer. Inventory. Remember that question I asked, Brett, how many houses did you have? Well, let me check the spreadsheet. I did not know at that time. I was fixing and flipping, I was buying and holding, have mixed use commercial, all of this stuff going on. So I need a set way of seeing this stuff so I don't have to invest my brain capacity on what do I own, where is it at in the process, right? Information is extremely valuable, but it's worthless if you're unable to locate it when you need it. I believe it was Jim Rohn that said that. And again, having the right spreadsheets in mind, keep it simple. There's tons of software out there that does all of this stuff. I'm building a simple solution that anybody can use. Google Sheets is where we're at. I want to show you that right quick. Let me slide it over here. So with Google Sheets, this is what I call the asset inventory. And this is super simple. Like I say, they've got the address, the property status in here, something simple with being able to pull out the statuses. And I have them conditionally formatted as well too. So if something's vacant, it's going to go in orange. Hey, it needs attention. Or if something's really, really needs attention, it goes in red, right? Specs of the house, bedrooms, bathrooms, property, purchase price right here, the ARV. These are all KPIs that I'm tracking in this process. And you'll see me go through these in some other slides here. This is stuff that I need to know. This is what I projected, and then I want to see the actual, because I always want to test and measure. And again, when you get your virtual assistant in place, you don't need to do all of this. All you need to do is what to look at. Reno complete date, refi date, appraised value, loan amount, loan terms, all of this stuff in here relative to each property. If you look at the bottom of this sheet, you can see payments. I'm also tracking what payments have been made, need to be made. These are important payments. Taxes, insurance. I'm also tracking rent collected. If you're if you're not working directly with a property management company that's running a PMS or property management software, I just want to know when my money's in. Even if I'm looking at owner reports from the property management companies, this gives me a way to track and make sure my income that's due to me has been received. We've seen tracking errors in PMS softwares. This just gives us a backup way of seeing this. Monthly rent, ultimately figuring the maintenance holdbacks, all of this stuff is tracked on these sheets. Anything that's happening monthly, we're seeing in this tab. This one's really important, contacts. I want to show which company is the property manager, insurance lender, utilities, renovations, agent, all of that stuff, their contact information, any notes. It's a one-stop shop to contact who I need to contact without having to look all over. Remember, information is extremely valuable unless you can't locate it. I like it in one spot. So that's our inventory sheet. You can actually download that. There's a resource in the book where you can download these spreadsheets. Again, super simple. It's on Google Sheets. You can set it up the way that you want, but this is something that's simple and has worked for us through the years. Project status report. What does that mean? Well, I want to know what the renovation status updates are. And again, you can do this in a Slack channel. I love seeing my weekly reports come through on my Slack channel. I'm looking at the big picture. Where's my money and when do I get it back? Where are we at in the renovation with regards to money out, renovating, and then money in on the refi and on the income, the rental income as well too. KPIs I'm looking at on that inventory sheet that I showed you. I'm looking at draw requests, work completed versus money paid, and you can see inside, let me bring this back over for you. So I track that here in the reno escrow amount, and I'll just write an equation here equals the amount, and then I subtract and I'll add a comment every time that I'm pulling or I'm approving a draw request. It's a great way of keeping everything in track. So money, work completed versus money paid. Escrow balances, again, same thing. Draw requests and escrow balances, those are going to balance off of each other. Money due versus refund available is also trackable in there. So if one of the challenges with running the reno escrow at time of close, sometimes I overestimate or underestimate the reno amount. So say I have 33 in there and it only cost me $30K to do the reno. Well, I know on my sheet then I can see I've got a refund available of $3,000. Projected start and completion dates, really, really important so I can hold the team accountable for what the expectations are. Projected versus actual rental budgets, again, really important, and we'll track this through from acquisition. So when we run the numbers in the acquisition to say, is this a deal, is this not a deal, we make our offer based on that, and then I love to compare those against our actual rental budgets. Funding reports, loans statuses. So I should probably say loan status, sorry about that. This is important because, you know, if we're running 0 to 12 properties, I always like having probably 2 to 3 to 4 properties in the wash at one time, meaning that there's one in the acquisition stage, one in the renovation stage, one in the leasing stage, one in the refinancing stage. So how do we keep track of all this? Well, in my sheet, I want to see what the loan status is. I've got an application, appraisal, clear to close, and upcoming closings. So inside of that, I like to see where they're at and when, because that's going to require my time at certain points of these. My team can take care of a lot of this, but there are certain things that I myself or you will have to take care of as far as the application and then the closing itself too. Expected cash out is really important. If I'm using the BRRRR strategy, the buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat, then say I've got 150 in a property and then I'm going to get a loan for $112,000. I like to know when my money's coming back and how much it is. Again, I can see that on the spreadsheet. Another way that we can do this is use your Google Gmail account, your real estate Gmail account. Remember, we created that way back when, I think it was in the Deal Flow video. But I can now have my own Google Calendar for that. And it's separate of all your personal stuff. So you can keep just your closings, just your closings on there. So you can keep just your closings on there and not have to worry about personal information or personal birthdays, that kind of stuff. I love using the Google Calendar for your real estate. Property management is a big piece of this. This is your team member that's really going to be making sure that your assets are performing inside your portfolio. Properties under management, tracking who's doing what. And again, in the inventory sheet, you can see which property management company is holding the properties. You should be in one market, you should be in one spot. If you're in a couple markets, then you are, maybe have 2 different property management companies, 3 at the most. Property status, again, knowing what the property status is with the property manager. We had those listed out in the inventory. Are they marketing? Are they leasing? There we go. Marketing, leased, vacant, reno. Sometimes on a turn, we'll have to renovate the property. So these are the statuses I want to know where I'm at with my property manager. Property management software, I talked about that briefly. PMS. These are going to provide us with special information as an owner when we're looking at numbers. Net income for the month, year to date. Expenses for the month are really important. We have that, I think it was in the team building video where, if I give you $300 to work with on a maintenance, don't bother me unless it's over $300. I still want to track and see what we're spending on a property. I've used this number to see which properties are performing or not by, hey, which is the problem? What property is sucking up the money in repairs rather than bringing it in on rent. Delinquencies, rent that has not been paid. That's really important to me. I need to know my property manager. These are numbers that allow me to hold the property manager accountable. The delinquencies are rents that have not been paid. So when I see that, I also want to make sure that the steps are in place to remedy that. Right? Have we sent the notice to quit? Where are we at with that? Is an eviction? What's the process? Where are we at? And again, 1 to 2 hours a month. These are the numbers I want to look at to hold my team accountable. Vacancies are really important. Number of vacant units, lifetime vacancy rate. So I want to measure myself and my team in let's say quarters, half a year, and make sure that we're on track. Evictions also really important. Number of total evictions. Eviction rate equals number of evictions divided by number of executed lease agreements. This is really, again, another KPI that you're going to be able to hold your team, your property manager, accountable for, and also make sure that you are getting better every single time. In the book, we mentioned quotes from Compound Effect and Slight Edge. Just a great way of thinking about this. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Constantly, we're getting better, we're getting worse. I choose to get better. We do that by testing and measuring. I don't know if I'm getting better if I don't know where I'm at in the first place. Holdback accounts. These are important. So this is an operating account basically for your real estate company. This account is used to cover OPEX, CAPEX. We spoke briefly about that in step 5. Mortgage payments when the properties are vacant. So sometimes when we go ahead and finance a property right out of the gate, I'll need to pay a mortgage payment before the renovation is done. So this is just a great account that we use that for. It's also going to hold the 5% maintenance and the 5% vacancy. This money will be taken out before we figure our cash flow focus. We'll get into that in another slide. This is building up that little till for the unexpected, the unknowns, the vacancies, that kind of stuff. I am creating a path forward that will allow us to do this passively. So what I want to do is have my team set this up so there's automatic transfers happening whenever it's possible. Like for our mortgage payments, our insurance payments, owner deposits, our cash flow focus, extra principal payments as well too. Automate, automate, automate. Careful with that though. Automation makes it easy to be lazy. And when you're lazy, if you don't care about your money, nobody else is going to care about your money. And there are just ways of getting overcharged, charged on accounts that you don't use anymore. So just be careful. Cash flow focus. All right, focus cash flow at the lowest principal mortgage or the highest interest rate mortgage. Make extra principal payments every month. So we set our mortgage payments for I think like the 10th. We make a lot of our mortgage payments. So we've collected all the rent and now we can pay the mortgage payment. So once we collect that, then approximately 2 weeks later, we're going to make that, within 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to make that extra principal payment. And I talked a lot about this in the book on taking advantage of the snowball effect. We're focusing this cash flow. 2 ways to do it. The highest interest rate or lowest principal. You're going to pay less interest if you're doing the highest interest rate, very likely, and you're going to pay them off faster if you use the lowest principal. So a couple of different ways to look at this. You can use the cash flow focus calculator to figure this out. Again, another resource available that we've got in the book resources. And on this particular cash flow focus calculator, I'm showing 12 properties in here, and the first one is paid off in 34 days, and I'm sorry, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? The first one is paid off in 34 months, and the 12th property is paid off in 176 months, which is right around 15 years. So we're leveraging 30-year fixed rate loans, and this is how fast they're paid off by focusing this. This is a great spreadsheet. I absolutely love this. It's going to order these things. It's going to do the math. It's going to figure this out for you, so you don't need to know that. But it is relevant on the mortgage balance, the interest rate, the term, and it's going to figure the principal and interest payment for you. You have to put in your net cash flow, because in my net cash flow, I am removing the 5% maintenance, the 5% vacancy, the 10% management fee. So all of that's coming out, and then this is my net cash flow. This is how it pays it down. So you can see how when we acquire 12 properties, if I pay that first one off in less than 3 years, that's a win. That's awesome. And then we're going to take that money instead of, now let's see, this first one, say address 1 is paid off first. So this is now, instead of making a $271 additional principal payment along with all these other ones, I'm adding this, what I was paying for principal and interest, $638. So now I'm paying $900 in addition on that next principal payment, and this is where that snowball effect really takes hold. And you'll need to make sure that you review this every quarter at a minimum. Be sure to review it every time you add or enter a stabilized property. So once we start collecting rent, I'm going to make sure that I've got it adjusted in my cash flow focus calculator to watch this thing and make sure I'm focusing the funds where I need to. QuickBooks Online, pay somebody to do this. There's just no way around it. Again, I don't want you to do things that's going to create another job for you. Pay somebody to get this set up. It's important for you to have that base foundational knowledge of what to look for. I don't know how to enter an asset into QuickBooks, but I know what to look for when it's in there, right? Know how to run the basic reports for profit and loss and balance sheet. Again, I have wonderful VAs that work with us, and my VA that I lean on the most, wonderful young lady, she actually is a bachelor's degree in accounting, and she's able to take over QuickBooks, enter everything in, and that works directly with our CPAs and our strategists as well. Compare monthly totals against previous year monthly totals. So once your portfolio is up and running, I'm going to look at this month in total, and then I'm going to look at it against last year this time and see where I'm at. It gives me a good feel of how we're performing as well. So overall, reflect each year that you do this. Reflect each quarter and each year to, again, just test and measure. You always want to be getting better. You can do this in a minimal amount of time. You build your systems, leverage your team, leverage their knowledge, their experience, so you can focus your knowledge on looking at the numbers. You want to get better all the time. Set goals, measure progress, and be specific. No one's going to care more about your money than you do. And I've said this multiple times. Hopefully you've heard me say this. You don't have to know everything. I mean, there's a quote about, I think it was from Henry Ford, and he's being questioned and drilled about certain information, I believe it was by the government. And his response was, why would I trouble myself with that knowledge when I have very, very intelligent people around me that are able to answer those questions for me? So you don't have to know everything. You have to know the right questions to ask. And we do that through a foundational base of knowledge, and you have to care about your money. The book, How to Get Rich as a Doctor, is a great resource. And again, we're going to go through all 6 steps in that book, and you can find these resources are downloadable for free there as well too. the cash flow focus calculator we looked at here, and the asset inventory, the asset management, asset inventory spreadsheet. 2 big pieces, downloadable for you for free. Jump on it, keep it simple. Even if you're not a big spreadsheet person, these are already laid out so you can use them easily. And that's it. That's our 6 steps to leverage passive cash flow. I've really enjoyed my time speaking with you. I really appreciate your time. Today we talked about asset management and turning your investments passive. Overall, I would love to take you from 0 to 12 single-family residential income properties in 1 year. It is possible. I've built the team, the systems, the processes all in place. You can find them here on the YouTube channel. I would love to speak with you. If you're interested about my team, our team, working for you, finding, acquiring, renovating, and managing your assets, your real estate passive income portfolio assets for you, 100% done for you, reach out to us. You can see us on the website. We'd love to work with you and show you how this is possible. Again, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Look forward to speaking with you soon.